Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, everything you need to know from day 6 of Minnesota Vikings training camp. We got some injury news, and then we'll dive into how the practice went, a couple of big-time plays, some guys balling out, mainly Jeff Okudah, get you guys updates there. And then also Kevin Seifert gave some insight on what we should expect at the running back position with Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, who get the majority of carries. We'll dive into that. And then also KOC, he was talking about the defense, and he is raving about this group. He thinks it could be one of the best in the National Football League. But let's start off here with the injury news. Isaiah Rodgers missed day 5 of Minnesota Vikings training camp, but he was back out there for day 6. And before practice today, KOC, when he was talking to the media, said he just had a little soreness. You'll see him working his way back in here as we go through these next couple of days, and you'll see him out there a little bit today. So, no real concern there on Isaiah Rodgers. But, again, this Vikings cornerback group is incredibly thin. And I don't know if you can afford an injury to one of the top 4 guys, that being Murphy, Rodgers, Blackman, and Okudah, because if one of those guys do go out, it just makes the backups, a lot more thin. Like, then you're going to have to rely on maybe a UDFA like a Zamia Vaughn, like a Dwight McGlothern. And so no concerns there. So I think that's very positive for Isaiah Rodgers. And also Rondale Moore, he was out there on the field running routes. He looked pretty smooth, obviously coming back from that torn ACL. I don't know how much usage he'll get in this offense, maybe early on if Addison does get suspended, but some positive updates there. Vikings are a very healthy football team right now, so hopefully that continues. And if you guys want the Vikes to stay healthy this season, just give me a skull down below in the comment section. Don't jinx us. A little bit of a superstitious guy. So if you guys want to help me out and want the Vikes to stay healthy this entire season, hit me with a skull down below. So let's dive into day 6 here. Couple of the main notes and takeaways I've been seeing across Twitter from a couple of beat reporters and fans that are actually in attendance. But Justin Jefferson and KOC, the last couple of days, without Jefferson being able to practice with that hamstring injury, he has been a great teammate, and him and Kevin O'Connell, they look like they are best friends. Like the way they're chopping it up, they're seen throwing the football before practice, and those two guys, as much as we love McCarthy, as much as we love a guy like Darisaw, Jonathan Gennard, like the faces of the Vikings organization and the faces of this franchise are those two. It is Justin Jefferson and Kevin O'Connell, and it's great to see that they have a great relationship because, again, KOC brought this offense over from the Los Angeles Rams when they won the Super Bowl with his time in LA. They had Cooper Kupp running that main X receiver where he was, even hopping in the slot a lot of the times, playing all over the field, but the offense was ran through Kupp. Same with our offense here in Minnesota. It is ran through Justin Jefferson. So we already knew they had a great relationship. I just think it's been pretty cool, those two just looking like they're boys at Vikings training camp. And also here on another pass catcher, TJ Hawkinson. He looks ready to have a monster season. I was a little disappointed in Hawk and his performance this past year. Again, he was coming off a torn ACL, so maybe I was a little unfair in my criticism of his play, but I felt like a lot of those 50-50 balls that he was normally coming down with, he didn't this past season. But at least just from the eye test, he looks ready to roll. He looks absolutely massive. He looks very athletic, very lean. He's breaking off the top of these routes like it looks like a prime version of TJ Hawkinson, and a guy who is still only 28 years old. He's probably hitting his athletic prime right now. And actually today at practice, he caught a nice little screen pass, went for about a 20-yard gain. So maybe we could see some more Hawk screens this year. KOC loves the tight end screens, specifically to his former guy, Johnny Munn. So hopefully Hawk has a bounce-back year, has a massive season. We know JJ had that great connection with Colston Loveland. So hopefully him and Hawk can continue to build on the connection they already have. And another pass catcher, we'll just keep it there, Jordan Addison. Every single route I see this guy run, every single catch I see him have, he looks like one of the best wide receivers in the league. Now, obviously, Addison is not the biggest, the most athletic wide receiver, but in terms of just mastering the wide receiver position, I feel like Addison is damn near getting there. He's got great hands. He's a tremendous route runner. He is so explosive in and out of those routes. Well, he'll just get to the top of the route. He'll break it off in one way, and it's almost like a goalkeeper in soccer when they're going the PKs, and you just almost have to guess which way he's going. Like, it is that fast, it is that explosive, and he actually had an awesome 20-yard catch over the middle of the field today. And with Jefferson clearly out, or with Jefferson out, Addison, for right reason, is clearly the favorite target for J.J. McCarthy, as he should be. I mean, he is one of the most dynamic wide receivers in the league. That's why this wide receiver room with the Vikes, like, even if Addison has to miss time due to suspension, even if Jefferson, for some reason, his hammy ends up bothering him more, I guess you want this team to be at full strength. That's when they are a true Super Bowl contender. But if they have to miss a game or two, there's enough depth, there's enough talent, and it all, again, all the credit goes to Keenan Mee Cardell. He is one of the best coaches at the wide receiver position in the league, so they look great. And, you know, if we want to get to some negative here, J.J. McCarthy, he sailed a couple passes in a red zone period. Now, he also had an unbelievable throw to Jordan Addison back left to the end zone, and Jeff Okudah, who has been balling. He had this unreal PBU. Addison was coming down with it. He almost had like a Peanut Tillman-esque punch out of the football. It was an incredible PBU. Really can't say enough about Jeff Okudah. This is a guy, this is his last chance really in the NFL, and he knows that. And he is giving it everything he has, and he is making plays. And it's not like he's going up against scrubs. He's going against Jordan Addison, a top 20 wide receiver. Jefferson, the best wide receiver when he's back out there. And even random guys like Naylor, Ty Felton, they are getting great looks. And probably the biggest winner from Vikings training camp so far is Jeff Okudah. He's absolutely lighting it up. I could really see him not only just pushing like Mekhi Blackman to be that third corner, I could see him pushing Isaiah Rodgers. You know, Flores loves that archetype where it's these long, sticky, press man corners. That is Jeff Okudah. And I'm sure he understands if he can't get it done in Minnesota with Flores and the talent they have on that side of the field, and he ends up going somewhere else and not having a good year, other teams probably aren't going to take a chance on him because they're saying, if you can't do it with all that, how do we expect you to do it with us? So one of the biggest winners so far, Jeff Okudah, massive, massive shout out to him. But I do want to talk about the J.J. McCarthy just red zone period today. He had a couple of awesome throws. There's no doubt about it. He was learning the football pretty well, but he also had a couple where he let him get over the top of the end zone, where it still was Addison catching the football. This happened on 2 plays specifically, but he just couldn't get his feet in. So it was just a little off target. Nothing to be concerned about because we know this is something they're going to work on. We know he has the fastball. We know he has the velocity to attack the middle of the field and obviously the big-time arm to take the top over the defense. But it is just layering the football, fitting it in those zones. Like he had that one pass to Jalen Naylor the other day where it was just perfectly over the zone. Jalen Naylor high-pointed the football. It was a tremendous throw, a tremendous catch, but it was clear today. That's just something the Vikings are working on with him. I'm sure him and Kevin O'Connell talk about it every single day. Hey, if you want to take that next step, if you want to become, a potential top 10 quarterback in the world, layering the football is the next thing to do. So that's everything offensively. Now defensively from day 6. Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, they were both getting vet days. So it was Jalen Redmond and Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins that were playing aside defensive tackle Harrison Phillips and the starters. They look pretty good. I'm massive on Redmond. I'll actually have a couple videos coming out later on this week talking about Redmond and just, truly, I think us Vikings fans are kind of sleeping on him a little bit, and he could be a big-time rotational defensive lineman. Remember him last year in those Falcons and Cardinals games? He was one of the better defensive tackles in the league, specifically against stopping the run. So I like to see him and Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins getting some reps in there. Don't sleep on Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins either. This was a guy, he was supposed to go way higher than he was in the draft. Freak athlete from Georgia, a true pass rusher, and him just learning from Hargrave and Allen will be so massive. Overall, this defensive line is just every practice, every day, we're getting something even more positive about those guys. Now, one little thing here on the offense also. Will Fries apparently had a massive pancake block against a backup defensive tackle on a tight end screen. Will Regette's added, maybe you're not supposed to do that in practice, put your teammate on his ass, but it was definitely impressive. Vikings have a lot of faith in this guy. He was the only contract given out during NFL free agency that got up to 5 years. All the other contracts were either 1, 2, 3, 4-year deals. He was the only player to get a 5-year contract, and for $88 million, if he ends up working out, that's going to be a steal for hopefully one of the better guards in the National Football League. So that's everything from day 6. Now I do want to talk about what Kevin O'Connell was talking about before practice today. This was a quote from him on the defense saying, to think it's not even August yet, and we're getting that type of cohesiveness chemistry, among that first group defensively. My expectations are very, very high for our defense, and I agree with KOC. My expectations are through the roof for this side of the football for the Vikes. There is all types of talent. You have an elite front seven. You got playmakers in the secondary. And then it all is about Brian Flores. Like, if we had any other defensive coordinator, yes, I would still be high on this group just because of the personnel, but everything's a perfect fit. Like, Metellus, he's a perfect fit with Flores. Metellus was talking about how he's the most versatile player in the NFL today. I agree with him. He can line up anywhere for this unit. And same with a guy like Van Ginkel. Those guys are perfect scheme fits. It truly should be special to watch, like the three-year growth from this unit, because we saw it with Ed Donatel when the Vikings made the playoffs in 2022, how poor that unit was. Then in 23, Flores had to blitz all the time. He was blitzing on 50% of the plays, but he needed to do that because the Vikings couldn't get home with 4. And this past year, you're a little better at getting home with 4. Only blitz 39% of the time. I'm curious to see the Vikings blitz rate, specifically after like the first month of the season. Is it back up to 45, 50%, or is it going to continue the decrease where it's around 30%. So KOC is showing all types of love to the defense, and don't blame him. This should be one of the better units in the league. But also Kevin Seifert, he had a report on Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. He says it should be about equal in terms of the workload. We've been reporting this for a long time here on the channel. I think it is going to be a 50-50 split, but also there will be some games later on in the season where it's going to be the Jordan Mason show. This guy looks like an absolute freak. He looks even bigger than I expected. And, after watching this video, just look up Jordan Mason highlights on YouTube from this past season. It wasn't just the Kyle Shanahan system. Yes, that helped, but he was 3rd in rushing yards over expected per carry, just behind Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Like, if you told me we look up and Jordan Mason ran for 1,300, 1,200 yards this year, I would not call you crazy. I think he's got that much talent. Then you add that with how good this offensive line is, the weapons on the outside, so you can't put 8 in the box against this unit offensively. He should have a massive year. Now, Aaron Jones, I still think will be very impactful, but in more of a condensed role. And I think that's great for Aaron Jones because he is a little older. He's had an injury history. You get him a more limited role, he should look even better in those limited snaps. Vikings going to try to replicate what the Lions have in David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Obviously, Jones being the Gibbs back, and Jordan Mason being that David Montgomery back, man. He's a physical, bruising, just falling forward type of running back. So that's everything we got from day 6 of Vikings training camp. Jeff Okudah just making plays, man. He's lighting it up all throughout training camp. So we appreciate all of you guys watching. We are going to be going live here on the channel later on today at 3 p.m. Central Time. So tune in then. We're going to have a lot to talk about. I'm actually taking some PTO after today just to get a nice little vacation before the start of the preseason. Then it's just going to be nonstop Vikings coverage. So make sure you guys tune in later today, 3 o'clock for our live show. Get you guys the latest around training camp and just a lot of good videos around your Minnesota Vikings. So see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.